Hi, I'm Mimi, and welcome to Mimi and More. Today's video is going to be about budgets, money, and how did we make out for our first 4 weeks on the road as full-time slow travelers. So stick with me through the video. I'm going to talk to you about all the things we spent money on, things that we spent a lot of money on that we didn't expect to, things that we didn't spend a lot of money on that were also a surprise to us, and some tips and tricks along the way. So first of all, sorry about not posting last week. It was a crazy sort of travel day. We're actually in a new city. We've been to 2 cities since my last video. I'm filming this from Merida, Mexico, and we'll also have a video coming up about our week in Mexico City. But today, we're going to concentrate on San Miguel de Allende, Mexico, and our budget. So we are full-time slow travelers, and we have budgeted $5,000, roughly $5,000 a month. So what that amounts to is $164.38 a day. And that covers everything, all the money that we spend for traveling. Now, we have other costs that I call our fixed costs that never go away. And if you stick with me to the end of the video, I'll talk a little bit about those at the end and why they aren't included in our $164 a day. I know some people do, and that's great. We decided to keep them separately. So here we go. Let's start with what we spent. So the first thing, of course, is accommodation. And so we booked an Airbnb for 4 weeks. If you are watching full-time travelers videos, you know that usually at the 4-week mark, you get a good discount on Airbnb, and we did. So it definitely benefited us to stay a month, although we had wanted to. So our accommodation, as you can see, is $1,134.62. And that amounts to $40.52 a day. We stayed for 28 days. And so we think that's pretty good. And what I want to note is when we talk about that $40.52 a day for accommodation, that's not only our quote unquote, housing costs. That actually includes your house, your apartment, your Airbnb, whatever you're staying in, the electricity, the hot water, the gas, the internet. So all those costs that you had at home that were in addition to your mortgage and rent and taxes and all that stuff, they're now included in your little $40 a day. So, I think it's amazing that we're able to do this. And that is one of the reasons why we're able to do this, is because some of those costs that we're incurring now are so all encompassing for such a small amount. So the first thing I want to talk about again is the accommodation. So the second thing, in a little reverse order, was our flight. So we flew from Newark through to Houston, and then from Houston into Querétaro, Mexico, which is about an hour 20 minutes outside of San Miguel. And that flight was $1,306.96. Now, you may ask, why was your flight so expensive? You could definitely fly cheaper, but we decided to treat ourselves. It was our first time out of the gate, and we decided to fly business class. So it's a little, we added in a couple of costs there, but it was a great way to start this whole new life journey. This wasn't like a week's vacation. This is our life now. So we sort of celebrated in style, if you will. So that was the cost of our flight. And then what we do is I take that cost and I divide it up again amongst the 28 days to add it in. So how I attribute that $1,300 for the flight, I take the entire chunk of time that we're away for this leg, I'll call it. Turns out it's 94 days. So I take that $1,300 and I actually apply a portion of that to every day. So 1,300 divided by 94, whatever that comes to, $12 a day or something like that, $14 a day. So that gets added in to every single day of this entire leg of this trip, so that, San Miguel doesn't suffer by a $1,300 big chunk deficit for the flight to get there. So the next thing is restaurants. So we spent a total of $1,300.16 in restaurants, which was definitely a lot more than I thought we were going to spend. The food in San Miguel was expensive. Eating out was expensive. And for us, even more so, because Rafael I'm not doing this alone. My husband Raphael is with me on this journey, although he's camera shy, but he's definitely here with me. He's not a great lover of Mexican food. Now, I know that seems crazy. Why go to Mexico if you don't like Mexican food? But there are tons of other foods that you can eat in Mexico, so it's not really a problem. So while we did eat Mexican food, I do like it. We tended to have to we went to a little bit more expensive restaurants because we were not really able to eat at that, taco truck where we could get, 4 tacos for $6. So our food costs were a little bit higher. The next category is groceries. Sorry, I have my chart out here that I'm looking at. We spent $582.46 on groceries. So again, groceries are not that cheap, at least where we were in Mexico, much to our surprise. We found the cost to be very comparable to what we spend back at quote unquote home, which is in New Jersey, which is groceries are high where we live. Well, they're high everywhere, but so we did spend a decent amount of money on groceries, probably maybe even more than we expected, but we did cook in quite a bit. So that's what the groceries were. Next category is sightseeing. We spent $237.90. So we did a couple of things that we booked. We took a walking tour. So whenever we're traveling, either the second or third day we're there, I like to book a walking tour, and it kind of gives us a little history about the city, a little lay of the land, helps us kind of acclimate ourselves. So we took a walking tour. We also did a tour of the ruins right outside of San Miguel de Allende. So that admission wasn't that high, actually. Getting there, well, that's a whole other story, but it was just maybe $20 or something to enter the site, but we did do that sightseeing. We also participated in, I highly recommend if you go to San Miguel de Allende, is they did these house tours provided by the library. So people that live in San Miguel voluntarily offer their house up for a tour. And so it was great. You get to see really nice homes in different neighborhoods. We did 2 of them while we were there, and it cost us, gosh, I want to say it was about $60 and change for each of us. So we did it there on Fridays. So we did that twice, and they were really, really enjoyable. We had a good time, but we did the house tours. So that and the walking tour, that's what contributed to our quote unquote sightseeing. Next is transportation. So we paid $64 to have a car shuttle service pick us up at the airport and get us into San Miguel. So it was really seamless. I will post the website below that we used. They picked us up in the airport right at the exit. We were on a shuttle bus that was very comfortable with maybe 6-7 other people, brought us right into San Miguel de Allende, directly to our Airbnb. And again, it was $64 US for both of us for one way. So not very expensive at all. I would highly recommend it. In addition, we took some Ubers. Every once in a while, we'd be a little far away from where we were staying, so we would take an Uber back. We found a market that we loved, but it was a good almost 2 miles away, so we would walk there one way and then take an Uber back. So the Ubers in San Miguel and through Mexico City and in Merida, where we are now, are really, really inexpensive. So it wasn't that high, but we did, obviously take a bunch of them, and then we did have the transportation of an Uber, obviously, to the bus station when we left. Entertainment is the next one, $47.13. We saw a flamenco show in Mexico, in San Miguel, which we love. So if you search through my videos, I'll put a link. I do a short when I was in Spain. I took a flamenco lesson. So I'm a long-time dancer, and Raphael and I both love flamenco, so we found, believe it or not, a flamenco show in San Miguel. So we went to that show, and it was $47.13. We were highly entertained. We loved it. So that's what that was. Personal care, $117.55. A little high, but I did buy some prescriptions while I was in San Miguel. So I do use tretinoin, and I don't have a prescription in the US. So I was getting it from an online service that was just not conducive to keep up while I was quote unquote on the road. So I bought some Trentino when I was in San Miguel. And I think maybe I spent like $60, $70 between, I bought 2 different tubes of 2 different strengths. So people have said, some traveling friends of mine have mentioned that it's with a prescription at home, it's less expensive, but since I didn't have a prescription, it was definitely the place to get it. Plus we bought a couple of other things too, by way of personal care. So $117.55 for the entire month. The next category, you might find strange, but we named it pastry and bread. Now, why pastry and bread, you may ask? Because my husband is addicted to bread and addicted to pastry. And there were just some great bakeries in San Miguel that were like within less than 10 minutes walking from our house. So almost on a daily basis, he would go out and buy a baguette, or the first week he was a palmier every day. So, which is great for him that he eats all that stuff. I do enjoy the baguettes, but I try to stay clear of the other things. So we did have a pastry and bread budget, and that came in at a whopping $200.74. So I don't know, something like $8 a day on bread and pastries, but it's the little things in life that make you happy. So if a baguette makes Raphael happy, who am I to keep him from it? So we do have a budget. We do have a cost of $200 for pastry. Coffee came in at a whopping $20.65. That's my addiction. I mostly made coffee in the morning at the Airbnb. 1 or 2 cups in the morning is fine for me. On occasion we would be out and about, and we'd grab a coffee, or I would grab a coffee. So that came in at $20.65. Other $19.46. I did buy some postcards and some stamps to send home. I think that's what the lion's share of those, sorry, I'm looking at my screenshot here. The lion's share of those costs are. So how did we do? Well, given the fact that we were away for 28 days and using that $164.38 a day, our budget for San Miguel was $4,767.02. And we spent $4,417.30. So if you're doing the math in your head, that comes up to our first 4 weeks on the road. We were under budget, yes, by $349.72. I am thrilled. I didn't think we could do it. We actually didn't really work that hard at it. I think if I had paid closer attention to restaurants and how much we were paying, or, trying to seek out less expensive restaurants, or even some things that we bought at the grocery store, we probably could have even saved maybe another $100 or some dollars. But still, to come in under budget of $349 our first 4 weeks out, I am super, super happy with that. So it just goes to show you that you can do a lot with not a lot. So that said, we do have some other costs that are not included in this $164 a day budget. We have what we call our fixed costs, and I keep those separate because they are going to happen kind of no matter where we live or where we're traveling to. So I don't include things like our cell phone, which I can tell you is we pay $80 a month. We have a T-Mobile plan for over 55, and we're very happy with that. Actually, I've had this plan, since I'm over 55, do the math. But we have the T-Mobile plan. We both have health insurance that we have to pay for because we are in the US for a decent amount of time. Raphael's on Medicare, so all of that he continues to pay for. I am on private insurance on Cobra, which I continue to pay for. We have some life insurance policies. We have long-term care policies. We have a storage unit. We pay for streaming, things like that. So that does add up, and we decided that we would keep a separate budget for that. So that's not included in our daily budget. You can do whatever is right for you. This was the best way that worked for us. But anyway, that is our video for our first 4 weeks of travel, our first month of travel in San Miguel de Allende, which, by the way, I cannot say enough good things about. I loved it there. It was a bit hilly, and it's a little hard to walk. There's a lot of cobblestone streets. It's not for the weak at heart, I will tell you that. But the city itself is just absolutely charming. The people are so nice, and yeah, I love the fact that for the first time in my life, I've always wanted to kind of live in a city. So the fact that we could just, at 6:30 or whatever, grab our jackets and walk out and have dinner, and then after dinner just walk back and be home in 10 or 15 minutes. That was, excuse me, so great to me. Sidebar. I have contracted a cold on our 5th week on the road, so there's that, but I'm fine. It's just a cold. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know when I watch people's videos, I love to know what they spend, how they manage their budget. And yeah, so I'll keep doing some budget videos along the way, but I hope this one was a good one for you. I'll also put some links that I think would be useful to you. But so to wrap it up, that's our video of how much we spent. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a great rest of your day or your evening whenever you're watching this. If you like this video, please do give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Hit that bell button, and then you'll know when I've posted a new video. And I really do appreciate you taking the time to watch. I hope this video was helpful to you. I do like watching other people's videos of how much money they spent. It has certainly helped me to budget along the way and have a realistic budget as well as to what we could afford to spend. And really it's why we were able to do this, was watching other people's travel videos. So for all of you people out there that I watch, thank you. You've been a great influence on me. Have a good rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.